What is going on, guys? Jose here at the First Round By podcast, accompanied by my boy Sauce. Sauce,
What's up? How's it going today?
are you asking me or are you asking
I'm
the
asking you.
fellow listeners?
I'm asking you. I'm wondering how you're doing today.
Man, I guess I'm doing okay. It's Sunday night, and we got to go to work tomorrow. Other than that, I'm feeling decent.
Yeah.
Got my beer in hand and ready to talk some football.
I actually also have mine. I've just got it off camera. But yeah, this week we're talking about the preseason.
Preseason week 1, that is. So we had a action-packed week 1 into preseason, and we're going to start it off talking about the Panthers versus the Colts. Did you check any highlights or anything?
So I did check out a little bit of highlights, but I've also been checking out the camp reports and everything. And everything that I've seen said that your boy Sam Sam Ellinger. Okay. Yeah, so apparently he's been outplaying Jacob Eason over in the Colts training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested to see or hear how he did for the preseason game, because I mean, from all accounts in training camp, you never quite know how it's going to go.
Right.
But from all accounts, he's been outplaying him. So
right.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Did you get to watch the highlights?
So I watched a little bit of the game, actually, not a whole lot, kind of just off and on, but I did keep up with the highlights.
Okay.
And he went 10 for 15, 155 yards, one interception, but he shook that interception off. He did really well after that. He led him to a game-winning field goal, and he actually ran for a 2-point conversion.
Ooh.
And he had a solid throw to, I forgot who he threw it to, but he did have a solid ball to someone else. And let's not discredit Eason. He did go 15 for 21 for 183 yards.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it sounds like they both played pretty well.
Right.
I'd almost have to find out. So, do you know who played first? Was it Sam or was it Jacob?
Eason played the first half, and then
Okay.
Ellinger played the second half, and I think they were down, actually. I can't remember by how much, but they were down going into the halftime, and then Ellinger brought him back in.
I guess Ellinger, I'm going to want to call him Ellinger this whole time.
Just call him Sam Ellinger.
But good old Sammy boy, apparently, I guess, since he was playing in the second half, that means that he was probably playing against, like, the second, third, maybe even
third
or fourth stringers and stuff, which are the guys that are just trying to keep a job. But that's also not to discredit like what he accomplished, because that's still awesome.
Right.
And I know that you're pulling for him. So.
Oh, yeah. Big Sam fan, Texas fan, rooting for him. Hope he gets that QB1 spot. Hell, even whenever Wentz comes back, I hope he sticks with the QB1 spot. So excited to see what his future holds down in Indy. Like I said, I'm rooting for him.
Absolutely.
So the game was ended with the Colts winning 21-18 on a field goal.
Very nice.
So let's move on to the next one. Let's go to the Patriots and the Washington game. So they played. It was a Friday night or Thursday night game?
I think that was a Friday night. Yeah, because we were actually going to try to record an episode. But, of course, us being in the working class, our blue-collar jobs, we worked late, so that didn't actually happen.
Right.
But we were going to try and talk about it as much as we possibly could.
Right. So starting off, Mac Jones.
Okay. So I'm interested to hear how he actually did.
So being a Pats fan, man, he actually really, I wouldn't say he surprised me, but he surprised me. Like awesome. And like I said, I was at work. Sorry if you're watching this, my boss. But I was at work kind of like half-ass watching the game on my desk, and I would like peer over every time like the offense would, trot onto the field. Mac Jones, he was like really calm, really poised, and you can tell he was like really, studying the defense and really trying to like read everything, and I was really impressed. He ended the night 13 for 19, 87 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did play a good game in my opinion. Could have been better, could have been worse, but first preseason game, I'm excited to see what he does throughout, the rest of the preseason and as well as the regular season. And then on to the running back. So Stevenson, the running back from OU, 10 carries, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and 191-yard touchdown run. Wow. So the boy got wheels, man. He hit the Jets. I think was it the third or fourth quarter? I can't remember, but he hit the Jets, and
that is awesome.
Touchdown. Yep.
I like that a lot, especially for the Patriots, because we both know how much they like to utilize the running backs.
Right.
And so, and you know that Belichick, he is a master at coaching up the talent. So I think they'll be all right, especially with Mac Jones. I really like that pick whenever he got drafted.
Right.
Because I feel like he was one of the more pro ready quarterbacks because he came from Bama, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So most of the time, any time a player is coming from Bama, they're usually pretty pro ready. So
Right.
that bodes well for you guys.
Well, and you see, like a lot of people, like before the draft even started, like everybody was trashing Mac Jones. They were like, "Oh, Bama quarterbacks, they never flourish, they never succeed in the NFL." Yada yada
AJ
yada.
McCarron.
AJ McCarron. Who else they had?
Shoot, that's the only guy I could think of.
Honestly,
right
me
off the bat,
too.
but-
Tua. I mean, he's down in Miami right now,
but he's kind of on the hot seat right now because he's got like a little bit of a noodle arm, and yeah, he just. I don't know if Tua is it over there, but like you said, Bama quarterbacks, they kind of have a bad reputation, and so hopefully he can change that because I know that you're really rooting for it.
Oh, hell yeah!
Means that the Patriots are actually doing really good,
right? But speaking of Tua, let's go over to the Miami Chicago game. You got Tua and Justin Fields.
Okay.
So Tua,
yeah, that's crazy. So not to cut you off, but I actually saw on a message board, I believe, either that or social media, that Justin Fields is actually playing pretty decently.
You know what's funny? So I was watching the game a little bit as well, and Justin Fields kind of started the game off a little rusty.
Yeah,
I think the nerves got to him. And I think he bombed his first few attempts, and then right after that he started catching fire. I think he threw for 142 yards and 1 touchdown, 14 for 20, so not bad. And then Andy Dalton, he didn't play much. He was 2 for 4, 18 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions. Nick Foles 1 for 3, 8 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions.
I mean, but at that point, a lot of times, especially whenever you're starting or maybe not even starting a rookie quarterback, but anytime you draft somebody who's supposed to be the face of your franchise, you definitely, like, preseason is the time that you want to actually throw them to the wolves, so to speak, to see what they've got.
100%.
So that's awesome. I mean, which is kind of crazy because that kind of leads into my next point. So I've noticed that over the weekend, both Brady and Mahomes played in their respective games, which I mean, most of the time I don't really care a super amount of preseason. Now, mind you, I like it because it means that football is finally back, which is fantastic. It's great. I absolutely love it. However, the thing that bothers me most about it is just the fact that you don't get to win the starters. Which is really ridiculous just because of the fact that I mean, that's what people want to see. They want to see the starters. They want to see the stars of the show. So, at the same time, it's kind of strange to me because of the fact that you don't, like Brady and Mahomes, they were just in the Super Bowl. And you really want to put them at risk for a meaningless game?
Right.
Like, I guess I just don't understand the mindset behind that. I guess try to knock off the rust. But at the same time, it's just kind of weird to me, you know?
I agree with you. And right now, I'm kind of just looking at the stats. So I'm going to the Chiefs, and it looks like Mahomes maybe only played like a series because he went 1 for 2. So
yeah,
if you're only playing a series, is that really like worth risking your star player? You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, especially the contract that he just signed. He's supposed to be there for
10 years.
10 years.
10 years, like 10 years, $500 million, something like that.
You're a huge 10-year investment. You're willing to trot out there for a series.
Yeah.
Like, Andy Reid, what are you thinking?
I agree.
I just don't understand that. And I know that Tyreek Hill was out there for a little bit too because I remember watching some of the highlights from it, and I guess he did like a jet sweep or something and got the ball from the backup quarterback, and I was just like, why? Why would you do that?
Right.
Especially, we were watching Brady. Well, we didn't watch the game, but we watched the highlights of it, and in the highlights, Brady got sacked in one of the highlights. Yeah. And, I mean, dude's not getting any younger. He's got them brittle bones.
Yep.
So, why would you do that?
Well, you see, and kind of like you just said, Brady, Mahomes, why would you start him? Like, in these other situations, like, and I'm always going to refer back to the Patriots. So, Mac Jones and Cam Newton, like they're both still technically battling for that number 1 spot. Like, Bill, he said that they're both competing, or no, he said the Cam Newton is the number 1 QB, but you know what I'm saying? They're still kind of competing. It's still up in the air. With these other guys, Mahomes, Brady, they're QB1. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Like, I guess they just don't. I mean, I could be biting my tongue right now, and they could both end up back in the Super Bowl, but. I feel like I don't know if that's a chance that I'd be willing to take because the preseason's for those guys that are camp fodder, and the preseason's for those guys that are on the fringe of being on the team
Right.
and everything. And I'm sorry, but I guess I don't know. I feel like if you make that large of an investment with two franchise players, I don't think that they should be considered camp fodder. I know that they probably aren't. Obviously, they are in no possibility of losing their spots.
Right.
But yeah, it blows my mind because I think that there's usually a preseason game. I think it's the third preseason game usually that that the coaches put their starters out there
Right.
for like at least the first half.
Right.
But I think we only have 3 preseason games this year, don't we?
We do, but I think it was like the fourth preseason game, maybe the third preseason game. You know, the starters would jump in, but now, like you said, this year it's only 3 preseason games. So
I wonder if that means that they're going to do this with the second preseason game. I wonder if they're just going to bump it up a little bit sooner to be able to play their starters. I mean, well, I guess we'll see this week.
Yeah, I'm sure. Week 2 of the preseason, we're gonna see a lot more starters, and maybe Brady and or Mahomes. I don't know. Maybe we'll see them starting. Maybe more than just one series. Maybe for a half or something. But
now, see, the only time I can actually justify that in my mind would be like, say, the Titans. Their defense last year was absolute garbage. It was terrible, and so obviously, I would be okay with them leaving the starters out there for at least the first few series or the first half, just to see what we've got because we completely revamped that thing. So if you have a unit that was struggling not the preseason, but the previous season, then I could see them, leaving the starters out there. But other than that, I mean, well, that's another reason why I'm not really a big fan of watching preseason, even though it is football, because a lot of people sit there and say, well, football's football. While I agree with that, I mean, if I want to do that, most of the time I just go and watch highlights off of YouTube, just because of the fact that I don't know. So it's not super, super enticing and exciting to me to watch a bunch of guys that are on the fringe. Now, some people they enjoy watching them like fight for jobs and stuff.
Right.
But me personally, it's just not as great of a product.
Right. In my opinion, like if you follow a lot of these cats, like a lot of the rookies, a lot of the people that just came out of college, it's fun. Like you get to see some of your favorite players battle out and try to get that number 1 spot. Like for example, I'm gonna go back to the Sam Ellinger. Like I said, I watched him in college for whatever 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to see him in the pros and him getting a shot. As well as for the Bengals, Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith for the Eagles, played for Bama. All these people, Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. So it's a good time to see like your favorite college people get their shot.
Especially since some of these guys you don't know if when they're going to get playing time.
Exactly,
because they might be buried on the depth chart.
Right.
So I can understand that. I guess my whole thing is just that. In recent years, I haven't gotten to watch as much college football.
Right.
So a lot of these guys, I don't pay attention to them until a few weeks before the draft because I'm a huge draft guy. I love the draft.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because, like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of college football anymore.
Right.
But I could definitely see why that would be definitely enjoyable for certain people and stuff. Just because, I mean, some of these guys you watched in college, you want to see how they do and keep following them throughout their careers and stuff. So. I get that.
Right. And then even like, for example, I'm going to go back like 4 or 5 years. I can't remember the exact amount, but I remember watching preseason. I was watching a Vikings game and Stephon Diggs, it was his first year in the league. He was playing preseason and he was killing it. And I was like, yo, this guy Stephon Diggs, he's going to be something good, man. And I picked him up in the draft. I think it was like towards the later rounds. I picked him up and he didn't do like, what he did last year,
right,
his first year. Beater. But, he was giving me some points. I can't remember if it was first or his second year, but, it gives you time to like scout out players for fantasy as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Yeah. Preseason's fun. I know it's not like, football. I mean, it's football, but it's not like starters. Right. But it's definitely fun, especially since absolutely. You haven't seen any action, whatever, 7, 8, 9 months. So it's fun.
I know, especially whenever they blue balls us for lack of a better term on football because we only get this for
5 months?
5 months,
if that. Most. Last month is playoffs, and sometimes your team doesn't even make the playoffs. So
although luckily it's looking like the Titans are going to be a squad this year. So, I mean, I don't know. The Patriots, they always surprise me. Well, in a way.
Right.
Like, I at any time they could have an insane squad just
Right.
because of that coach.
Right.
I'm very jealous of him.
And here's the deal. I'm not gonna talk too much about the Patriots this episode, but I think the Patriots will shock a lot of people this year. I think they will win their division. It's gonna be close with the Bills. But like I said, this is preseason talk. I'm not going to go into the Patriots.
Right.
We'll save that for another episode, but that's my take for now. And
that's a very interesting take, and we will definitely meet with that again soon.
We'll get with that. Yeah, we'll go back to that soon.
Be interesting.
But continuing with the preseason, finishing off with Trey Lance. I don't know if you guys saw his highlights or saw his game. He finished 5 for 14, not too hot. Did throw for 128 yards, though. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Did have an 80-yard touchdown, too.
I was about to say, that was the thing that I was interested about.
Right. He did have a good throw. I forgot who he threw it to. Like I said, it's preseason. I don't know half these cats.
Right.
But he did do a great job. So credit to him, man. And, I'm excited to see the QB competition over in San Francisco with Garoppolo and Trey Lance. So,
yeah. I think one thing that also is kind of tough about preseason is that obviously, I don't think that most of these coaches, none of them are going in there with a game plan. But you also, even if they don't go in there with a game plan, that still doesn't mean. I mean, you still got to be able to toss the rock.
Oh yeah.
You still have to be able to put the ball on the money and everything. Right. So I think that's what a lot of people are looking at. But I was about to say, I have noticed that there's quite a few flash plays this last weekend.
Yeah.
And well, you know what? That was the biggest one that I heard about.
Yeah. Let me cut you off real quick. So, going back to the Bears game, so Justin Fields, and because you're talking about, you gotta hit your money, you gotta hit your receivers. I don't care if you got pressure, if you don't got pressure, you gotta hit your targets.
Yep.
So one of Justin Fields' touchdowns, I forgot who he threw it to, but he threw it to somebody. But they were wide open, hit him right in the chest. The guy just backed up for like 5, 7, 8, whatever yards, and it was a touchdown. So had he missed that would have been alarming. But he hit him right on the money. Yep. So, yeah, he was wide open, but there's also a lot of people that probably would have overthrown his receivers. So, credit to Justin Fields.
No, and that's a good point, and that's another reason why I bring up the whole fact that I don't even care if they're not defensive game planning going on. I don't care about that because, obviously, if talent's there, then you're going to see the talent.
Right.
And so, plus it's really cool to be able to see them actually get in there with all the live play going on and getting those reps, even the mental reps and stuff, just from getting together in preseason.
Right.
So I like it. This year I'm actually I'm going to try to watch preseason a little bit better, just because I mean, like I said, I follow the Titans a lot, and so our squad was terrible on defense, so I'm going to be watching that. But also, there's so many interesting rookies going on right now, and the whole dynamic of the NFL is kind of changing in a way. Like, all the old guard is starting to fall off and everything, and so now we're seeing these young superstars coming into play. And so, I mean, the way that I see it is, like, am I watching these superstars bud into, well, these players, these rookies budding into superstars before our eyes?
Right.
It's like you were talking about with Stephon Diggs. Like, I mean, obviously, if the talent's there, the talent's there.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's regarded as at the very least, top 10 wide receiver.
Right.
Might even arguably be
top 5. No doubt, top 5, in my opinion.
Yeah. That, again, that's a debate for another time.
But, Sauce, we're inching on that 20-minute mark. I like to keep our episodes within that 20-minute frame. So, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode 4. A little bit of preseason action, week 1.
Yep. And if you guys would be so kind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Comment down below and let us know what you thought. Give us your thoughts and everything. And we'll be checking the comments section whenever we get some comments. And drop a like, because we want to hit that algorithm. We want to be seen by you guys. And just make sure you share it with a friend, especially if you like football.
All right, guys. Like I said, that's it for today's episode. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.